Hello, everybody. This is Seema Kaneja, and I want to share with you about a new group teleconference call that's going to be starting in the first week of January. The details about the time and everything are on this website. But basically, I wanted to use this video to give you a little bit more information to see if it is something that you may want to take part in. So this group teleconference came out of a group of us that have been studying A Course in Miracles. Some of us are actually brand new to it, but want to study it and want to have a forum where we can support each other. So this is how we decided, okay, so let's do this together. One person is actually not local, so this will work for her. And my vision is that it could be something that others might want to join in on as well. I know that there are many groups for A Course in Miracles, and so this is just, another setting to support those of us who are finding that this path is helpful, and at the same time, we're kind of longing for some more support. The other thing I want to say is a lot of my friends and colleagues and others who I know, when I share with them that A Course in Miracles has really, really changed so many aspects of my life, they often will say that they find this book very difficult to understand, and some of it strikes them as too religious. So they have all of these perceptions, and I thought I would also use this video just to kind of give a little bit of a background. So A Course in Miracles, I've got the book right here. This is what it looks like, and it's pretty thick. Yeah, I think it's over 1,000 pages or so, but the history of it is quite remarkable. So I first found A Course in Miracles. I was a medical student, and interestingly, I was doing a clerkship in psychiatry, and I found this. But the origin is that the scribes of the course, Helen Schucman and Bill Thetford, were psychologists at Columbia Presbyterian Medical Center in New York City. And what's interesting is Helen Schucman, who's the main scribe, was an atheist, and both of them were very much into the field of psychology, and they were very conscious of their role in the medical department. And psychology at that point was just kind of, getting a foothold in being accepted, and so it had been considered a soft science, and so their orientation was all about career development and how to have this field respected, and so on and so forth. They did not have any interest in anything spiritual or religious or anything like that. Like I said, Helen Schucman was even, she felt herself to be an atheist. So it's interesting, but at one point, this was in 1965, in the spring of 1965, Bill Thetford was giving a speech. He was addressing the other colleagues in his department, and it's so interesting. Here are psychologists that are supposed to help us, see better, feel better, manage our mind, and all of that. And there was so much interpersonal conflict in this department that Bill Thetford just said, there's got to be a better way. It can't be this antagonistic. There's got to be a way that's more peaceful and harmonious. We can't go on like this. And Helen Schucman and Bill Thetford did not have a very good relationship working. And so it would be uncharacteristic for the words that came out of her mouth, which surprised her, because when he said, there's got to be another way, she said, I'm going to help you find it. I'm going to help you find this other way. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to help you find it. And even later she remarked, this was so unusual. So after that, Helen started to have many different dreams and psychic experiences. And for a while, she thought she was like losing her mind. And if you can imagine, being a professor, associate professor in this highly prestigious Department of Psychology in a medical school, if you start to have these experiences, this is in the like mid 1960s, that's kind of, it's difficult. How do you reconcile that with your professional life? And so that's what she was feeling. And then after a while, in October of that same year, she heard a voice that said, "This is A Course in Miracles. Please take notes." And at that point, she knew it was the voice of Jesus. She had been hearing this before, and it was very clear to her. And again, this really, really probably must have rocked her world. So she started to receive this whole text. First, it was a text, then there's a workbook, and then there is a manual for teachers. There's some other supplemental materials as well. But she describes it as a voice that she heard, and it would be dictating, and she would take shorthand notes. And then if she got interrupted, because she was a busy psychologist working at the medical center, she could stop, do whatever she needed to do, and then just pick up right from where she had stopped. And everything the voice was saying and what she was hearing went against anything she knew about. Like I said, she had really no background in any of this material. Yet something compelled her to keep going, and she even had a discussion with Bill Thetford, whom she had started to confide about these experiences. And he basically said, "No, you're not going crazy. Just let it come." So she would take the shorthand notes, and the next day, in between, their busy practice at this medical center as psychologists, he would type it. So this process went on from 1965 to 1972. It took about 7 years for all of this to come together. So it has quite a unusual background, So who wrote the Course in Miracles? Helen never really felt like she wanted to take credit for it. She felt she was only a scribe, and it came from an inspired source, from Jesus. So sometimes even hearing that, I'm just hearing myself say this, and I'm trying to imagine many of you who are completely new to this, like, what is this? This sounds so crazy. And all I can say is, it's just something that, if it calls you, you're going to just read it and have your own experience with it. That's all I can say. But I know that when I first found the Course in Miracles, it was not this like one text. It was actually 3 separate texts, and they were hardcover. And some of you who have old versions of the Course may know that. And I can even tell you, I was, like I said, I was a medical student. I was doing my psychiatry clerkship, and I remember the Barnes & Noble. It was on Lexington at 86th Street. I exactly know where I purchased it. And the reason I was drawn to it is I had been reading stuff on attitudinal healing from Dr. Gerald Jampolsky, who's a psychiatrist, a medical doctor, and he referred to the Course in Miracles a lot. So I got curious, and so I went and bought these books, not knowing at all what I was buying. And it was so funny. I would read through the books, and there was something about it that captivated me, something very beautiful, something very poetic, and something that drew me in, especially the lessons on forgiveness. However, at the same time, I felt this real fear. I had the sense that if I really committed to this book, it was going to change my world, and I just wasn't ready. As a medical student, I was kind of curious, but I wasn't ready. So that would have been in, let's say, about 1990, 1991, something like that. So after that, I moved, and I did my residency in a different place. Then I moved, for different jobs. Then I was with my parents back home for a while. Then I moved to Rochester. And within Rochester, I moved a couple of places. But all of that time, those books always stayed with me. For some reason, when I would sort stuff and give something away, those books didn't go. So anyway, that's kind of my story. And I came back to the Course maybe about 3-4 years ago, when I was kind of experiencing a real painful situation, a painful breakup with, actually it was kind of a family member. And all the stuff that I had learned about meditation and yoga and holistic ideas and all that, nothing was helping. Nothing was helping. And I could just really feel myself, heading into this really depression. It was just sobbing and crying and really not knowing what to do. And I, it was that time where, those 3 books were still in my basement, and I went and I found them and I started to read them. And I can say I just haven't put it down since then. So what was smart is I did connect with a local teacher, Patty Fields, who was my first teacher, and that led me to more and more teachers. So I'm so happy that I did that, because I do feel on your own A Course in Miracles is difficult. And not that you can't do it, it's a self-study manual. You can totally do it on your own. But having that support really was so critical for me. It was very instrumental. And so I'm feeling inspired in 2016 to redo the lessons, to read the text. And I felt, why not do this with others who also might feel this calling? Maybe they're new to the course. That would be, wonderful. If you've been reading it for a while, but something speaks to you and you want to join in, you're welcome also. My sense with, what I want to do and what the others that are joining with me, we're pretty much going to start with lesson 1 on January 1st and kind of continue. But you're welcome to do, what inspires you. My sense is that we're always learning, and I could be on lesson 300 and someone could be on lesson 2. And when we come together, the fact that we come together, there will be a teaching and learning situation that just sort of is orchestrated. And, it becomes beneficial for everyone. So the details, like I said, are on the website, but I did want to record this to give you a personal invitation to, join us if you feel inspired. If you have any questions, you can also reach me through the website. And if you do feel like you want to join in, you can send an email, and the details about the all of the time, the phone call, all of that stuff will be given to you. So I'm recording this towards the end of 2015, so wishing everyone a wonderful holiday, and I hope to see some of you virtually at this teleconference that we're going to be holding to support a study of A Course in Miracles. Thank you.